So the headline, Peter King, Brock Purdy over Dak Prescott if I was starting a new team. Whoa! Think about this. I'm not sure everybody quite grasps what an expensive quarterback does to your team. Now think about this. Aaron Rodgers is great. Matt LaFleur is very good. The division's wonky. Their O-line rated top 5, 6 in the league. But because of Aaron's cap hit, they didn't make the playoffs. Okay? If Dak was the quarterback of the Niners today, Deebo Samuel's new contract would not happen. He'd be playing somewhere else. And you could not sign Nick Bosa, the defensive player of the year, many presume, to a new deal. You'd have to move off George Kittle and probably Trent Williams. You would not have the same team. Kirk Cousins, the number 3 quarterback cap hit this year. The Vikings had the 31st ranked defense. They couldn't afford good defensive players. Ryan Tannehill was the number 1 cap hit. Now think about this. Tannehill's more than capable. Vrabel's a great coach. Defense was fantastic. Weak division. Excellent run game. Could not make the playoffs. So Dak Prescott's contract, starting next year, he is the number 2 cap hit in the league at quarterback. Forget the Zeke contract. At least Dak is good. Zeke's a short yardage back. Dak now is getting in the way of wins. Folks, they were 4-1 with Cooper Rush, and Dak's better than Cooper, but the gap wasn't Josh Allen to Colt McCoy. It wasn't Patrick Mahomes to Chad Henne. The gap is Dak's better than Cooper Rush, and Dak, I think, is better than Brock Purdy, but you watch the game. The gap wasn't that large. They're both mobile, but not Lamar Jackson. They both have solid arms. Neither's Justin Herbert or Mahomes. There is an argument the Cowboys' best year to win was this year. I think Brian Daboll is going to get Daniel Jones, probably another receiver, center, tight end. Giants probably, whether they make the playoffs or not, probably a more talented unit next year. I think that's reasonable to presume. This was the year to get the Giants. Philadelphia is not going anywhere. They're not paying Jalen Hurts yet. They're just getting more confident. And they have 17 players who are either Pro Bowlers or alternates. And Washington's going to get a new owner. There's lots of rumors who would be the coach, but regardless of who it is, they'll have more stability and probably go heavy for Derek Carr and Jimmy Garoppolo. The Cowboys need to dip into that Salvation Army bucket on the sidelines for a loan. It's not as crazy as it sounds. Is that Dak Prescott now, the number 2 cap hit in the league? Think about how bad the division mostly is in the AFC South, how good the defense is for the Titans, how good the coach is, how good the run game is. They couldn't make the playoffs. The Vikings' worst defense. Kirk Cousins, a top 3 cap hit. Matt LaFleur, Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones. Iffy division. Great O-line. 8-9. So sometimes things sound outrageous, but when Peter King said that and you examine it, if Dak was the quarterback of the Niners today, Deebo Samuel's gone, and if you're signing Bosa, you got to move off George Kittle and probably one of your linebackers. You're suddenly not the same team. Kansas City, once they paid Mahomes, had to get rid of Tyreek Hill, who's a matchup nightmare, and Ward, the corner, who's now a Pro Bowl level player for the Niners on the outside. It's not the craziest thing to say. It would be with a Herbert or a Mahomes or maybe a Jalen Hurts. When Hurts plays Brock Purdy this weekend, we may see a sizable gap in talent. That's certainly possible. That's different. I watched Dak and Purdy, and I didn't see it. Good arms, not great. Mobile, not spectacular. Accurate, mostly. Dak was less effective. I said, I think you were on the show, J-Mac, when I said this, but I'd said it about 6 months ago. I think in the summer you may not have been here. I said, if you were trying, Bill Belichick was furious when Robert Kraft forced him to trade Garoppolo. It was the first time Kraft made a personnel decision for Bill. Bill did not like it. That's been sourced. He was pissed. And I said, Bill's got his money, his rings, his legacy. It's all set. And if you were trying to tank a franchise, you'd tick off the superstar quarterback like Brady. You'd hire assistant coaches who are completely in the positions you give them over their head. You'd put multiple kids on the staff. You'd draft the least talented quarterback available in the draft. You wouldn't move up. And by the way, you'd spend a fortune of the owner's money on free agency and really not get any great players. All of that's happened. Now, I don't believe Bill's trying to tank it, but we'll get to that in a second because I see a quote in a story that's got real journalism and real sourcing. So the Boston Herald, two of their reporters inside the building as the Bill O'Brien hiring happened yesterday. He's the new OC. It's the second time around. Bill likes to hire people now in his later years he's comfortable with. Doesn't want any new faces. So Andrew Callahan and Karen Gurrigan, came out, and they have sources all over the building. And I'm going to give you multiple sources what they said this year was like. It's crazy. I've never seen anything like it on the Patriots' dysfunction, said a source. It was disheveled. They were always scrambling to get things done. Does that sound like the best operation top to bottom in the league? A lot of guys were getting worried. He talks about the offense with Matt Patricia, a defensive coordinator. A lot of guys were getting worried because we were in the middle of camp. We were wondering what the plan was for our offense. We hadn't put the install in. We had a couple of protections, a couple of core run plays, but our pass game didn't have much in it. What? Mac did not like Joe Judge at all. Judge would speak loudly in meetings, extra loudly, trying to project like he was the man. That kind of rubbed people the wrong way. A lot of people frustrated with Joe Judge. Of course, he was put out of position as a coach. And finally, this goes back to my trying purposely to blow up the organization. Sometimes I would wonder, are we trying to screw this up on purpose? Now, I don't think Belichick holds a grudge, has that much animus that he's basically trying to, when he does retire here soon, hand him just a steaming pile of you-know-what. But it is interesting, and this is a memo to businesses. You can have a big brand. You can have great momentum. If you don't keep the best people, go ask Disney a month after Bob Iger left, or Microsoft a year after Steve Ballmer left, or Apple one earnings period after Steve Jobs left. They all had great products, great brands, industry momentum, and went into the crapper quickly. This is just a football team. The best offensive line coach, Dante Scarnecchia, leaves. Then Brady does. Then Nick Casario, Josh McDaniel, Dave Ziegler in the front office. Suddenly they're reaching for draft picks. Memo to business people. Pay your top people to stay. Apple, Microsoft, it doesn't matter. Patriots. This was the best run, smartest, most efficient, and leanest operation in the entire sport. Just say this out loud. Leaks in the building. It's like Trump's White House. We get a leak every week. Kids on the staff. Can't draft offense. Spend poorly in free agency. They have gone from the best organization to the Bears. They're dysfunctional. They're a non-playoff team. And Bill bringing back, again, somebody he's comfortable with and familiar with, Bill O'Brien. I do think Bill's so smart defensively in that division where I don't know who's quarterbacking Miami long-term, I don't know who's coaching the Jets long-term, and I don't love the direction of the Bills. I think they have a chance to sneak into the playoffs. But this article by the Boston Herald is damning. Wow, is my thought after reading it. These quotes inside the building are, and what it shows you, for years, nothing got out. It's the Patriot way. Now it's the Patriot why. For this stuff to leak out, I say this all the time, it's not just the story. Why is it leaking? It shows you the lack of respect and trust now in Belichick. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.